Did you know that obese people are the primary COVID vector and the key super spreaders of COVID-19? Most people don't know this. People think that just everyone's infected equally. And the people who've been targeted, whenever they show pictures of potential spreaders, they always show healthy, normal weight individuals. This is April 25th, Business Insider. This is from the LA Times, where this guy, this lean, healthy guy out there, paddling by himself, he's either going to get, or either got jail time plus $1,000 fine, or one or the other. So they're always showing the healthy people. Here you can see again right now from MIT Technology Review. You can go check this out online if you wish. What makes a coronavirus super spreader? Well, clearly the picture shows who they are referring to. Is there any evidence to support this? And the answer, of course, is no. In fact, they, in this article, say that they don't know, but we do know, and it's not these people. So this is what the article says. What makes someone a super spreader? This is all they say on it. We don't know yet. We don't yet know what it is about the biology of some people that cause them to be super spreaders. Yes, we do. It may have something to do with increased viral loads and increased viral shedding more than normal. That is true. It's obese people. We still don't know what could trigger this. Yes, we do. Obesity, let alone identify it through practical means. Yes, we do. BMI and glycemia and C-reactive protein and all the rest of the pro-inflammatory markers that everybody already knows about. So how long have we known that obese people are the problem, or a problem for themselves and potentially problems for others? Well, since the Spanish flu. So this is an article that was published in April. So you can see it was accepted in March. It was published in April, and it's a European Diabetes Journal. Look what we're told here. This is the very first paragraph. COVID epidemic is caused by an influenza-like strain. So here's SARS-CoV-2. That is what causes COVID-19. Since the Spanish influenza pandemic of 1918, it is known that malnutrition, meaning being malnourished, number one, underweight, malnourished, or obese, is linked to a worse prognosis of the viral infection. So, 1918, they identified this. Fast forward to, well, look at the year I was born. So fast forward to 1957, 1960 with the Asian flu that went zipping around. And then in 1968, the Hong Kong flu. What happened then? It was confirmed that obesity and diabetes leads to a higher mortality rate as well as a more prolonged duration of illness. So what is it about the prolongation? Well, they shed more viruses and they are ineffective at releasing, or they're ineffective at eliminating viruses. So we've known since basically the year I was born, a little before, that obese, diabetic, hyperglycemic people put others at greater risk, and they put themselves at greater risk. And then once again, in 2009, the same findings emerged. Obesity linked to increased risk of severe disease and a risk factor for hospitalization and death. So that was 11 years ago. They knew this. So what is it about obese people? What is it about obese? And we have to realize, too, in America, this is from the same article, 42% of the adults in the U.S. are obese, at least according to the CDC. So 3 factors make obese subjects more contagious than leans. First, and I'll just stop after this one because it's so obvious. First. Obese subjects with influenza shed the virus for a longer period of time, up to 104% longer than lean subjects, potentially increasing the chance to spread the virus to others. Now, when they say potentially, you have to realize that this is a scientific thing. They're only at risk if they go out to other people, clearly. So if they do, they absolutely will increase the chance of spreading it to others. So it's really disingenuous to show images of healthy, lean people who want to exercise and make them the object of criticism for spreading COVID-19 around. And then even worse, New York Times rolls in to defend obesity. Here we go. This is August 2020. So you have to realize that 102 years ago, we knew that this is a problem for viral infection. But don't worry about it. Don't be ashamed. I mean, this is a dumb word anyway. They should be saying, don't worry about those extra pounds, right? I mean, that's what they're actually saying. You should worry about those extra pounds. The actual title should have been not some guy who's looking like he's doing a lateral lunge. It should say this: why your extra COVID-19 pound gain can kill you. Or how about this? Why your extra COVID-19 pounds that you put on makes you a walking, talking coronavirus spreading machine. Now, that would have been a really accurate article title. So who is it really in America when they actually show sick people? Who do they show in the U.S. news? Guys like this. So he thought the coronavirus was a fake crisis. Really? Why should an obese guy like this remotely think that any virus is a fake crisis? Because we've known for 102 years that guys like this are far more likely to die. And we now know that guys like this are the big spreaders because they shed, which means their body produces more viruses. And you think, God, this is going to be breathing heavily when he walks around? Of course. So he's just a walking, talking, viral spreading machine if he gets infected. So you can see how disingenuous this MIT technology review image is, blaming these people. It should have been like this. What's a coronavirus super spreader? An obese, hyperglycemic, symptomatic individual. And who knows when zero symptoms to symptoms emerge where the spreading can occur, because no one's really identified that yet, despite the fact that people think it's just rampant. Because we know that about only 10 to 20% of the infected population are out there spreading about 80% of the virus around. And the odds that it's going to be some lean, healthy person exercising without a mask on, it's just outside, is so remote it shouldn't even be in one's mind. So what should we know? I've used this image many times. COVID-19 is not a virus, mass, or lack of a vaccine crisis. No virus is. Unless you're talking about a television movie virus like Motaba from Outbreak, well, then it is the virus. So what is it about obese people? What makes them the primary vector and the biggest spreaders? Well, they're more prone to infections. They shed more viruses. They create more mutations. They stay infected longer. They breathe out more viruses, and vaccines don't work for them, so they are the spreaders and at much greater risk for dying. So from that same article from the Diabetes Journal in Europe, due to prolonged viral shedding, quarantined obese subjects should likely be longer than normal weight individuals. What about masks? Because the whole mask hysteria thing really kind of surprises me, actually, to think that we're going to be protected if we wear a mask. And the big thing, of course, is that if you don't wear a mask, you don't care about others. Well, how about this? Only 10% of people who are running around, 20% are actually spreading it anyway. How about giving people some actual numbers so they can put together, and really the authorities should be doing this, the medical authorities, the infectious disease specialists should be giving us a mask wearing criteria, but they have not. I've been working on it, but it's guesswork ultimately because the data is kind of difficult to really tell. But what do we know if you do wear a mask? Are you going to get infected? Now, people have misinterpreted this information. So this was 154 patients, you can see, symptomatic adults, 18 years and older. Okay, so who got infected in this group? Well, you can see here 130 out of the 154 either often or always wore masks. So this does not mean that masks don't work. It just means that, or that people who wear masks are more likely to get infected. It's just that most people are wearing masks. If you don't wear a mask in California, you can be fined. So everyone in California, unless they're sneaking around where no one's looking, and then at that point, who really cares because no one's around? But otherwise, they're all wearing masks. So the mask wearers are far more likely to get infected. And what this does tell us is that if you put your faith and trust in masks, wow, that's pretty foolish, because we know who is more prone to becoming infected and spreading it: obese people. Now, I did this video back in March of 2020 before the articles appeared, like the one I just showed you from the Diabetes Journal. That was published in April. So I was unaware of the the fact that obese people are actually create more viruses at that point. I knew that they were far more prone to being infected because basically obese body chemistry resembles a viral infection. So the immune cells that respond to a viral infection, they also respond to obese rotting fat cells as if there is an infection-like state taking place. So what should we do? Well, first I watched this video for sure. And what else can you do? Well, you can learn a lot more about this stuff in my books. These three books are the best books that you could get that I have written that will address the various health issues related to viral infections in general, as well as, well, clearly other health issues and, of course, weight loss, which is a huge issue for viral infection. So what should we do just simply? Well, get your weight normal, get your glucose normal, and glucose levels. This means fasting glucose, postprandial, and hemoglobin A1C. Get your vitamin D level normal, take zinc, vitamin C, other nutrients are beneficial. Polyphenols from vegetation are all beneficial. And of course, get rid of refined calories and eat more vegetation. So this rapidly creates an inflammation reduction state, which was what we want because we do not want a hyperimmune response if we get infected. And we are all likely to be exposed to it. So you want your body to not respond aggressively to put you in bed for weeks and weeks or in the hospital. And we have to realize that there will always be new viruses that emerge, so we should all be prepared. And we have known since 1918 that obese people, so we've known since 1918 that these people suffer more. And now we know that these people are far more likely to die. They are far more infectable. Is that a word? They're far more contagious. They're far more infectious. So they are the super spreaders. So you have to embrace the fact that masks are not the key defense against COVID, despite the mantra that you may be saying yourself, and certainly I've heard from others. They're not the key defense against any virus a healthy body is. And this has been known since the mid to late 1800s, when on Louis Pasteur, the pasteurization guy, when he was on his deathbed, he said that a contemporary infectious disease specialist of his time, Béchamp, that Béchamp was right. The microbe is nothing. The terrain means the body, the health of the body is everything. Now, obviously, you could say, well, the microbe is something, but we're talking here about normal exposure, not talking about drinking glasses of virus or being locked in a 12 by 12 room and you're the one healthy person, you're surrounded by 10 obese symptomatic people coughing, sneezing, breathing heavily, and spreading it all around the room. Then you're in trouble. At least you'll be infected, but you still may have a minor reaction if your body is healthy. So if you like my approach, you can cruise over to my Amazon page. And again, for this time period, the D-Flame book for immune health, the weight loss secrets, and the D-Flame diet would be the most useful for you. Single copies at Amazon and volume copies at dflame.com.